Workers from OHSU among those in the protest, and today the hospital actually spoke out about another aspect of all of this related to the COVID-19 pandemic. They're worried the use of tear gas and other chemical means on protesters can cause the virus to spread faster. That's because the gas makes people cough, cry, and it irritates the respiratory system in general, all ways to get the virus or spread it to someone else. And Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler also addressed this tonight in that moment that we showed you at the top of the show. He showed up to Chapman Square to listen to protesters, but according to the Oregonian, he also told them he's in favor of a 30-day ban on tear gas. And he said he's told police not to use sonic warning tones to control crowds after officers activated them at the end of an all-night protest. We should point out, when we say tear gas, we're actually referring to CS gas, and police say that's what they've been using. And they make that distinction because they say it's a powdered form of tear gas. Therefore, it's easier to escape and the effects wear off sooner. Protesters not satisfied with that argument. And today, a group of them, along with the organization Don't Shoot Portland, filed a class action lawsuit against the city demanding they stop using CS gas.